Hey guys, it's Chloe. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today we are continuing on with installing parts for the 2024 Tacoma. And if you've watched my videos before, especially the ones where I do modifications, you guys kind of know my style where I like to pick out parts for my vehicle, especially ones that I think serve a good purpose or, maybe make life every day better for me, enhance the on or off-road experience, or sometimes are just straight up cool to me. And I like installing all of these on camera, documenting them here on my YouTube channel for you guys to watch. And what's special about this video today is that all the parts in here that I've curated come in these fancy Lexus genuine parts, Toyota genuine parts printed boxes. Yes, because they are all OEM parts for the Tacoma, well, except for one of them. But I wanted to sneak this one particular one in because I feel like it should be an OEM part. You guys can be the judge of that though. But anyways, what I recently did was I went on the Toyota website and looked at all the parts you can get for the new Tacoma, the 2024, and I was quite shocked at the amount of offerings that they have right now from themselves. Like normally I'm turning to the aftermarket space to find upgrades and parts I need, but surprisingly Toyota has come up with a pretty good selection of OEM parts that fit the new truck. So I think I have a good mix of some standard predictable parts I've installed here on the channel before, but for my previous gen Tacoma that are now going on this truck. But I also found some pretty unique ones that I hope you'll like. I definitely think they're cool, useful, and I'll show you how to install all of them in this video. By the way, all the OEM parts in this video came from sparksparts.com. They're all gonna be linked down below, as well as the discount code I have had for Sparks Parts, always available for you guys to use if you see a part in this video that you like. Or maybe you're working on another project on one of your other Toyotas and need OEM parts. You can use that discount code, save a little bit of money. But anyways, let's get into the video. All right, we're gonna get right into it. I'm starting out first with the simplest install, adding all-weather OEM floor mats. And I know floor mats seem like such a one-dimensional topic to talk about in a video, but I do have a lot of my own opinions about them. Okay, first things first, how could a truck with off-road in the name come with carpet floor mats? I personally think that's kind of a sin, but hey, that's how they get you. So let's replace them. You can see the fronts are locked down to prevent accidental trapping of the gas pedal, and there's some interesting history from 2009 when there were recalls about this. You can look it up if you want. So this locking mechanism is highly important. But anyways, the old ones are out in about 60 seconds, and here's me unboxing the new one. I want to note that I have a previous gen Tacoma as well that has the OEM floor mats, and these are very similar, but interestingly enough, for 2024, one of the changes they made is that the rears come in two separate small pieces rather than the single molded middle piece. Obviously offering less protection, but it is a lot easier to put in and take out to clean. So when it comes to floor mats, a lot of people will tell you WeatherTech and Husky are the best of the best, and I can't argue there. Those mats provide way more coverage than these OEM ones. They're thicker, but I still decided to opt for OEM because the types of activities I do in this truck are mostly dry, like desert and sand. But if you do more activities that might involve mud, like maybe hunting or live where there's snow, I definitely recommend looking for something with better coverage instead of these. I will surf on the rare occasion, but not enough to warrant those heavy duty kinds since I'm not slinging a ton of water inside the truck. So OEM all-weather is a good happy medium because of the fit, the improvement over the carpet ones of course, and appearance. And accompanying my floor mats is a single piece OEM bed mat, which even though is large, I still was able to get shipped from Sparks. Not really much to show you on an install here, so I'm just kind of showing you the after, but it's good. Doesn't cover up my Charvonia design billet tie downs, but nothing else much to say, except that this has been a nice upgrade since before, Cody's crate was slipping and sliding back there. So I am very glad I managed to get the bed mat and especially the floor mats installed just in time. I actually put them in a couple days before I took this truck on the dirt for the first time, and I feel like just my first couple off-road trips, I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of these floor mats. You guys might have seen my video where I took this truck out to the desert for the first time to do a lot of fun off-roading, practice driving in the soft sand, and this truck definitely got dirty on the inside, especially because there was a passenger with me. So the mat saved a lot of time when I was cleaning this truck, just in terms of like wiping it down, vacuuming, and also of course, if I didn't have them, definitely save the carpet. So I highly recommend them. Keeps the Tacoma clean and pristine and looking nice and everything. And at least for me, I kind of think that they are one of these modifications that help keep this balance of my Tacoma being an off-road adventure, having fun vehicle, which inevitably is going to get just dirty, and still nice enough for on the street. You know, I feel like there doesn't have to be this one or the other. You really can find and strike that perfect balance. You know, something I like to talk about a lot in my videos, or at least kind of underlyingly show, is that in a lot of cases, you don't need a lot of crazy modifications to go out and adventure and have fun. Yes, eventually on this truck, I'm gonna go bigger with wheels, tires, and suspension, but for now, and for a lot of you guys who talk to me about just getting started, maybe this is the first off-road vehicle you own, something like this is a great first modification. And if you are one of these people just getting started with all this stuff and really excited to go adventuring, something that I've been sharing with a lot of my own friends who are kind of in the same boat is to check out Onyx Off-Road Maps, because it's an app that allows you to find trails that fit your level of off-roading that you can do and find places that your vehicle is and isn't capable of. Actually, in this truck a couple weekends ago, I had a group of coworkers that wanted to do a trail, and with this vehicle pretty much being stock when it comes to off-road capability, and also in our group having just a variety of vehicles, some stock, some not, some with 37s and others like me who basically have 31s. We were able to use Onyx Off-Road to find a perfect trail out in Ramona, close to where we are in San Diego, that we could all comfortably do and have a fun weekend in. I mentioned Onyx Off-Road because they are partnering with me for this Tacoma build, and I really couldn't be more excited, stoked, and grateful to work with a company that makes a product that I myself have been using for years and absolutely love, even before all of this happened. As a customer myself, I am happy to recommend Onyx Off-Road. And if you watched my desert video, I showed you guys there how to use Onyx to navigate to some great spots, and I linked some of my own favorite waypoints so that you guys can visit them as well. It's also just like a safety thing for me, you know, going out on these trails, a lot of times you don't have service, but with Onyx you get offline maps. And I think my absolute favorite thing about using Onyx Off-Road for so many years just has to be that, you know, it's got a really low barrier to entry. It's very user-friendly, very easy to use, and it's assisted me on a lot of my adventures in my Toyotas all these years. The discount code that they gave me to give to you guys is pretty good too. 20% off their normal pricing. Just another tool to have for your adventures. And if you haven't tried it at all, you can actually sign up for free to just check it out. But the membership gives you those offline maps and trails, and I really think you'll like it if you check it out. All right, on to the next one. I think this is the most fun one, and this is actually what the after result looks like. It's very subtle unless you know what you're looking for. And if you didn't spot it, maybe this will give you a hint. It's an illuminating front grille badge, and yes, this is a genuine OEM part from Toyota. I was kind of surprised by that. I don't know what sort of opinions you all have about the appearance, but I'm going to say that I personally am a fan. So let's unbox and install it. Now, being OEM, it's all plug and play, so you get the badge plus a wiring harness. And I like the form factor, how when it's turned off, you can't even tell that it's a light. It just looks like a badge. The install on this one, I'd say, is a 2 out of 10 on the difficulty level, so very DIY friendly to most people getting started. Since we're working with electronics, the first safe thing to do is disconnect the negative terminal of the battery, and I like to take something non-conductive like an ESD bag and put it around the end to avoid any accidental contact. With that, we'll be able to start getting to the harness we need, which is blocked by the air inlet, so I remove that by pushing in on the 4 plastic clips holding it in. And be careful not to drop those clips in like me if you can, because the engine bay swallows them up. Next, remove the OEM badge with the plastic trim removal tool by prying it as shown, but be prepared for it to pop out all at once, kind of like it did here for me. A slightly stress-inducing moment until I checked that I didn't break any clips luckily. Next up, take the provided wiring harness in the kit and feed the end with a black connector through the emblem holes. Now use this pictorial reference of a taco on a taco. Literally, the factory service manual also shows this, but under here you can feel for the 3-prong connector to tee into that is the daytime running lights. Hard to show on camera, but it is right underneath that taco on taco. And then plug everything together. All the harnesses are keyed, so it's difficult to mess this one up, but do keep the wiring tidy by routing the harness under the radiator support and grille supports if you can. Basically, I'm just following the wiring that's already there and zip tying around it. Fit that new light up Grille badge on after plugging it in. And now I'm reconnecting the battery to test functionality. And boom, we've got light! So now you can feel better about peeling that plastic off, but don't get too excited yet to where you almost forget to reinstall your air inlet like me, so be sure to remember to do that. When you add in those clips, just push the middle piece down so that they're flush with the outside. That is how to properly reinstall them and secure that part down. Now we're done, and here's one more time with it off and on. Okay, so I personally think the look is very, very cool. I actually like the look better with the fog lights on, so I can turn that on right now. I'll turn on the headlights too so you guys can get the full effect. There it is, all the lights on. I don't know if this is gonna be one of those modifications where they're kind of like Raptor lights where you either like them or you don't, but I'm on team yes for the light up front emblem. I just think it's cool. It's an OEM part. I think one of the best things about this part too is that under the description, it's called the Taco Badge Sombrero. Now that I'm reading that, I can kind of see it. Moving on, do you guys know what these are? I don't think I saw that these were offered for the previous generation, but these are door sill protectors. Yes, another OEM part. You can kind of get the idea for what these are for, but they're meant to prevent scuff marks since doors tend to get scratches from getting kicked up. Here's what the texture looks like up close, and the install is very straightforward. I almost don't need to explain it, but I will say you can one-up me here and clean your surface, although I recently detailed the truck after my off-road trip, so my surface was relatively clean and these adhered well to it. You know what I think would be fantastic? In a year, I want to come back, revisit these, show you guys what these look like, show you guys if these things have any scuff marks, and hence if they protect the doors well or not. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know, I kind of don't need them on the rear seats because the only person that sits back here is Cody, and like on really, really rare occasions, I'll have enough passengers, but I guess they do kind of just complete the look. Now I'm unboxing the last OEM part I have to show in this video, although not the last part as I mentioned in the beginning, but anyways, it's this black gloss exhaust tip. It does not change the sound of your exhaust, but it does alter the look a little bit. And I suppose adds a layer of protection if you hit yours on the trail or something, and maybe helps prevent with denting it, which hasn't happened to me yet, but I dinged up the bottom of it when I came in contact on a section on that Ramona trail a few weeks back and got a slight scuff. Anyways, install here is easy. There's a spacer so that the tip fits over the OEM piece snugly, and one bolt to tighten down that holds the tip on using tension. I will say, the stock exhaust just definitely hangs low, and this tip adds more surface area, so theoretically I have a higher chance of fitting it on the next trail. But for a lot of people, it's going to be pretty superficial, and someone like me is definitely enjoying the appearance of this one. Okay, the last official part install relates to the hood. Can you tell what it is yet? If you can't, it's probably because you, like myself, would expect this to come from the factory rather than be an aftermarket add-on, which is why in this case I did want to sneak it into the video, but they're gas hood struts from Redline Tuning. And yes, there is nothing wrong with the OEM prop rod, and to be fair, this hood is objectively not as heavy as last year's Tacoma, but I like hood struts, and I've had a good experience with Redline Tuning struts on my 2019 Tacoma. Here's everything that comes in the kit: 2 struts, instructions, brackets that are 100% bolt-on, so no cutting or drilling, plus an extra bolt that we'll need. You do need a few tools, but nothing crazy, and I'd say about 30 minutes time. First up, I'm removing the top upper hinge bolt because I need to add one of my brackets here with the ball stud facing inwards towards the truck. Always remember to start bolts in by hand to avoid cross-threading, especially when using something like an electric ratchet. Now, I locate the right hole for the fender brackets, and one side doesn't have an OEM bolt, hence why they provided you with one. And I just repeat on the other side. When it's time to add the struts in, the sockets are pre-greased, which is nice, and make sure you mount the strut end on the lower ball stud and body on the upper ball stud for proper performance. That's literally all there is to it. I do like the OEM-like fit and finish, especially since there's no drilling involved, like what I had to do with my last Tacoma. So anyways, those are all my parts I installed. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what your favorite one was. Be sure to check out my Instagram for extra and more real-time content if you're interested. But I want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video.